There's an intense battle going on in the spring ventricled heart of Nintendo's superb new fighter, ARMS, and it isn't between Ninja and Kid Cobra over who's the cheapest. No, it's between how you actually play the thing. Now, as we all know, all of Nintendo's marketing is focused on motion controls, split Joy-Cons that replicate the movement of your arms into on-screen strikes, and they allow you to twist your hands to curve punches. And people thought it was a weird approximation of Wii boxing. Then a series of glowing previews online in the magazines, and like hands-on time with the Test Punch demo out in the public, and it made people realise that maybe, just maybe, like Splatoon, motion was actually the way to go with this game. Then it came to review time, though, and there was a near unanimous call to arms suggesting returning to button. Despite losing some of the intricacy of spring arm curvature, the ability to react properly with blocks and movement is the only real way to roll with the punches. And so it was decided anyone who was going to be taking arms seriously was going to be playing on Pro Controller, or at the very least with sticks and buttons. And fine, we all thought, okay, that's fair enough. People admired the motion controls, but really the way to play is with sticks and buttons. And then this happened.
Mr. Yabuki controlling Min, throwing some curving punches with a beautiful parabolic arc, trying to get some damage on Master Mummy. Master Mummy trying to jump up on those trampolines right there. Master Mummy, if it can connect with a couple throws, can do some major damage here, D1.
Yeah, right now, Mr. Yabuki, that's looking like the living personification of movement, but that rush attack doing so much damage.
That rush attack doing 405 on Min. Mr. Yabuki finding himself in a little bit of a corner. Meanwhile, Zerk starting to get a hang of Master Mummy. Much different play style than with Twin Tail. However, Min has a rush attack ready to go here, D1.
And you see Zerk is actually jumping a lot, giving a free opportunity for Min to get the rush. But there's the grab, and that's a free charge for the Dragon. And
My goodness!
We talked about the jungle on the trampoline. We talked about that, D1. Unbelievable. Painting an orchestra in the corner with Mr. Master Mummy.
Now, if some of you haven't seen that clip and you don't know who that is, well, that's Yabuki-san, Mr. Yabuki, producer of ARMS, and is there absolutely bodying the winner of the E3 ARMS Invitational with a mastery of motion controls that we haven't seen yet, quite frankly. And the man himself explicitly states that the best players in the office, the development team, they play with motion. He said that both in Edge magazine, in the preview, and on Glixel. And while he may just be towing the company line, considering the marketing push, you cannot say this man has not backed up his claims after that performance. So I thought, let's break down the two styles of play, do some pros and cons, and then see if we can end this arms race once and for all and decide on a winner. And trust me, it's a pretty close fight. So, buttons. Despite a change in perspective and some atypical design, ARMS is still at its core a 60 frames per second fighting game. And as such, it both enjoys and relies on the very thing that all great fighters do, which is precision. You can dodge and jump in a split second, and as such the game allows you to be both reactive and proactive to the action on screen. The Pro Controller, which is probably the best of this choice, or the Joy-Cons in buttons mode, as I'll call it for the sake of argument, they just give you that level of precision in your movement, in your blocking, and in your directional choices. You see here how Twin Tail, which is my main at the moment anyway, darts in and out while advancing. This is simple to execute on a pad. In fact, it's just muscle memory from 3 decades of gaming. I picked it up pretty much instantly. And doing this with the curious dual joystick motion controls is way trickier, and therefore it's just less reliable. Twin Tail, I find, operates well at mid-range, so being able to advance is a crucial part of her strategy. Perhaps the main advantage of playing on buttons, though, is in blocking, and any ARMS player knows that being able to slap on that shield as soon as you sense an incoming rush attack is absolutely crucial. And even though clicking the left stick in isn't exactly ideal, it's a lot more reliable than that weird cross shape you have to make with the Joy-Cons in motion controls when you want to block. And as we all know, a mistimed block can really be the difference between victory and defeat in ARMS. So if buttons are that important and that much more precise, how is this even a debate? Well, instead of focusing on their negatives, let's take a look at what motion springs to the table.
Nice, I can tell you've been practicing.
Trying, Reggie.
And the answer is actually simple. It's precision again. What? I hear you cry, you're an idiot. And while that is certainly true, it's also true that you can be far more precise, devious and devastating with curved motion control punches than you can on the buttons. You can twist both ways with one hand to chase down an opponent with a toaster while simultaneously bending a boomerang on a tighter arc to catch them as they dodge the other way. You can send two arms bending inwardly to snatch an opponent from both sides or bend them outwards to halt their dodge. And yes, as you learn these controls, you'll inevitably throw out too many grabs, you'll forget to move in the direction you want to, and you'll probably lose more times than you'd like, especially when playing party mode and especially ranked. But as Mr. Yabuki showed, if you can master it, and remember the really important movement, the jumping and the dodging, is still on buttons under your thumbs, you'll have a set of controls that are broader and filled with more possibility than anyone playing just on buttons. The difficulty curve is higher, kind of appropriately. But there's another side to motion too, and it's not really for you and I, people who are trying to do grievous bodily harm to their ranked opponents. And that's motion controls are fun. They're really fun, especially in this game. Anybody can grab those Joy-Cons and they can enjoy the HD rumble as the springs uncoil out of their hands. They can play it like Wii boxing, but then gradually learn the intricacies of a fighting game over time. And also, there's something to be said for burning a couple of calories while you play, you know? ARMS, like so many of Nintendo's games, scales beautifully from casual mucking around to hardcore tactical scrapping in this case, and the motion controls actually play a big part in that. So what is the damn verdict? Well, in truth, even after that kind of glowing appraisal of motion, I am probably going to stick with the buttons, and I predict a good 80 to 90% of the ongoing player base will do the same, with some sticking with motion if they're just younger and just playing the game casually, and then a really hardcore set who manage to stick with it and probably achieve some great things. So I've already developed my muscle memory with the Pro Controller, and while I really would like to be able to throw down like Yabuki-san, unless the overwhelming majority of high-level players insist on motion controls, which is what happened with Splatoon and made me change, and I'm thankful for that happening, I can't see me having the audacity to try and learn a trickier, less immediately precise control scheme that is going to make my rank go down, that is going to make me suffer in the short term. And I'm a little ashamed of myself to say that, but I think that will be the case for me, that will be the case for most people, and in truth, my recommendation also is to play with buttons, because I think truly that will allow most players, especially people who've been playing games for a long time, to get the most out of this amazing game. And it really is an amazing fighting game, very different to what we traditionally know as a fighting game, but still containing that DNA. It's a beautiful game, but I guess if you want to see true greatness, stick with motion. And if you can play that way without any mistakes, well, my friend, you will be a one-man army. Alright, thank you very much for watching. I'm interested in hearing your comments. Please let me know below what you're playing with. I want to get a kind of consensus on this channel and just overall. If everybody slaps me down and goes, no, it's definitely all about motion, then I will be far more inclined to stick with that. But yes, thank you very much for watching. My name's John Denton. Please do remember to subscribe to the channel if you like the idea of a YouTube channel that celebrates the beauty and art of gaming, but also tries to recapture the spirit of games magazines, which is my background, having worked on written and edited games magazines for well over a decade. So once again, thank you very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace!